Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, do consider subscribing if you want to see more dope content like this. So now today I'm going to be showing you how you can create your own DIY rotary device. And in this case, this is the little device I'm going to show you how to make. And essentially what that is going to do is spin your product or your object or whatever it is that you want to spin. Now, this was the basis for this video that I had created earlier. And to be honest with you, the success of that particular spin in that video is all down to the quality of the rotation that you would get. And this is the reason why I actually went about trying to create my own. Finding a way to spin the product that would keep it as near vertical as possible and spin on the spot without going around in that motion was quite important to me for this particular shot. So without further ado, I'm going to break this down and show you how we got to this point. So at the core of this is the motor. You're not going to get very far without a motor. That motor is going to make it spin. So this is a 12 volt DC motor, and you can find these on eBay or Amazon or any other marketplace. There are plenty out there. It's just cheap and cheerful. So I've got this particular one. This one has a 90-degree shaft, as you can see in this particular picture. And that's the one that I chose. No particular reason at the time. I just chose that one because I had a particular design for mounting it in mind. So that's going to be the first thing, is selecting the motor. So this is a 12 volt motor, as I said before, and this one is rated at 10 RPMs. Now you can get motors that are rated at different RPMs. So depending on your application, depends on how fast you want it to go, you can do that. You can also get motors that you can control with a DC controller to speed it up or slow it down or even change the direction. So the next thing you're going to need to do is find a way to apply power to the motor. Like I said, this is a 12 volt DC motor, so you're going to need 12 volts to power this one. So what you need to do is get a couple of wires and attach them to the terminals at the back of the motor like this. I've soldered these on, and then I've just got these attached to a generic. These again, you can find them anywhere on eBay. This is a generic terminal block that goes into a jack for your box standard 12 volts DC power supplies. So that's what you're going to need to be able to power the motor. And right here I am using a 12 volt battery pack, and if I open this up, it is just 1.5 volts AA battery in a battery pack. Again, found this on eBay that you can use to power this with. Now alternatively, you can use a DC adapter to power this as well. You plug this into your main supply and you select what voltage, if you can select the voltage on that model. Just make sure it's man enough, i.e. it's 12 volts, and you can use that as well. So that's the setup. That's how you get it working. That's how you get this thing to move and to turn. You plug it in to a 12 volt power supply, and there it is, off you go. So the next challenge is how you're going to mount this motor. My solution was to get this aluminum box that I have here and just drill some holes at the top. So I drilled 4 holes at the top, and there are 4 holes in the motor, and screwed that in, drill a hole right here so the shaft could come through. So now I can just place this down on the table like this, and I'm ready to go. But before we move any further, let's talk about this inline switch right here. So technically, if you have your wiring done and you have your power pack, you plug this in and it starts to spin because power is applied. For a little bit more finesse and a little bit more control, you can get these inline switches, again on eBay, and all you do is wrong hole. Yeah, all you do is plug in inline, so you have a switch so you can turn that on and off, as opposed to unplugging this every time you need to turn it on and off. So the next thing you're going to ask me is, well, yeah, that's all good and well, but how can I get the product on here to turn that? How am I going to make a turntable XYZ? So here comes the humble drill chuck. So again, like I said, in hindsight, you can find these, and I will link the one. You can find the motor that includes the chuck as well. So I had to purchase this separately, and I had to make sure the specifications were that the bow on this was able to fit the shaft on that. So bear that in mind. So check the diameter of this shaft right here, and check the bow diameter of the chuck if you have to buy them separately. But if you buy them as a package, they should come, you know, compatible and ready to go, ready to fit. So there's your chuck. You screw your chuck up on there, and then you can open, you know, the chuck has a it's like a drill, if you like, at the front of a drill. You know, you open it, you put your drill bit in, and you close it up. Okay, so let's take it one step back, because you're gonna ask me what this is. So what this is are these two things. So this is a plate or a disc. It's a cutting disc that's used on little dremels or mandrels. So these are used for, you attach these, and you either use it to cut things or polish things with it. Anyway, it comes like this, and you have different sizes of discs. And what you would do is attach the shaft to here, and then that can go in to here like this. Again, tighten up your chuck, and there you have a mounting surface that you can place, you know, your product on, and away you go. Now, so this really worked a treat for spinning the can. So if you really want to get that dead center on the spot, this is probably a really good solution for it. So again, same here. And what I've done is I've glued this on here a little bit. It can come off, but I applied some glue so that it stays in place. But before I did that though, and this is just a little tip, because you can see the top of the can is still intact. So I drilled a hole at the bottom of the can and drained the contents, because, you know, the lighter it is, the easier it is to go straight. If you have a heavy can, you know, on this, it'll tend to do a little wobble, right? So that's the solution for that. Okay, let's take it one step further. Let's take this out. So this is how you can create a nice rotating platform. Alternatively, as you probably saw in the video that I did with the fruit explosion and how I got the fruit to rotate, this was using this particular tool. So, you know, you get something like this. You can get a skewer, or this is just a little metal wire or aluminum wire, and again, fit it into the chuck. So you can open that, tighten it up, and then just skew whatever it is that you need to skew and turn it on and watch it rotate. And actually, a cool advantage of this over a regular turntable is that you can uplight. So for example, if you had this product sitting on a black turntable, for example, I mean, you can get a white one that would help to reflect some light on the rim here. So you see, this will be super dark if this was sitting on a turntable. And so with it elevated, you can do a couple of things. Either depend on the reflection from the surface, like here. For example, if you have it on a white table, to bounce back under here to give you some more light. Or you might go ahead and just uplight it just like this. So you have that rim light, and you keep that from being, you know, getting too dark as such. So in terms of skill level, you know, I would say the most skillful thing, or the most difficult thing to do on here, is, if you've not done it before, is to actually solder these wires to the terminals at the back of the motor. Now, some of these, you might find that some of these might come with a tail already attached to here. So maybe if you don't want to go through that, you know, or you're not confident enough to do that, try and get one that already has a tail attached like this, so it'll come just like this. And then you can, like I said, these are pretty simple to configure. You just push these in, and you get a little screwdriver, screw that down, and that is pretty much it. So you can see from my attempt when I mounted the motor to this little aluminum box that this screw hole didn't align, and so I just left the screw out. But you know, shit happens, right? So anyway, guys, just to recap, when you're purchasing a motor, check the specifications. Like I said, this is a 12 volt, and check the revs per minute, the revolutions per minute, as to what you want for your application. This one is 10 revs per minute, and I chose that because I would rather to have this spinning slowly, and then I can speed this up in post-production. as opposed to coming the other way. Also, what happens with a slower motor is that you get less movement, less vibration, and hence you get a smoother spin. Next thing to consider is powering the motor. So like I said, battery pack or AC mains DC adapter. And yeah, that is pretty much it, guys. That is it for this video. Like I said, any further questions, feel free to ask me in the comments below or over on my Instagram. Check me out on my Instagram. I'm doing a lot of behind the scenes, a lot of different stuff over there that is not necessarily on YouTube. So make sure you follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.